Living in Termina is an awful idea. If you look at this game's map, you'll immediately notice that Clocktown sits directly center of every place that wants to kill you. It's kinda hard to believe people see this as an optimal neighborhood to raise a family, considering all the horrible things surrounding them. Today, I want to talk all about Termina, and exactly why you wouldn't want to live there. And probably couldn't regardless. So to be fair, there are a couple factors in place that keep Clocktown citizens safe. For starters, it's not like they're camping in an open field like a bunch of cowboys. They have the power of technology on their side. They've got giant stone walls surrounding their city, and the gates are guarded by what I assume are trained soldiers. These fine folk prevent you from leaving if you don't have the means to defend yourself, and with that thought, I'm already drawing several parallels to Attack on Titan. Chicken leg titans included. If these guards didn't stop people from leaving, they'd walk straight out the gates and probably meet the choo-choos roaming Termina Field. And honestly, as long as you're not allergic to lime or strawberry jello, this shouldn't be too much of a problem for you. I never really understood how they can hurt you, to be honest. They just kind of wander around and jiggle around. Running into these guys is the best case scenario though, since only a brisk walk from here, you'll find the entrance to Snowhead. Over this way, you'll find some snow, surprisingly not a head, and a dancing naked guy on top of a rock formation, just some pretty standard stuff. Oh, and I guess for the sake of the video, I should mention the giant fire-breathing dragons. The Dodongos look super cool, but they're not exactly what I'd call friendly. Sure, with a little finesse they can be felled, but their treacherous ways don't end at slow roasting grannies like an Alaskan tanning salon. As it turns out, they self-destruct when they die. And that's kinda badass, but it's also dangerous, so I had to mention it. So, watch out for that. Exploding lizards is pretty alarming, but surely it can't get worse than that, right? Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad bitches, but if you know anything about Majora's Mask, I'm sure you're aware, and then it got weirder is something you'll be hearing a lot. There are several ways to leave Termina Field, and one of which leads you to a cute little place named Ikana Canyon. Before we can get to that though, we'll meet potentially the most terrifying creatures in all of Termina. The Bombchu, a mouse that blows up. It has to be a pain fixing a rodent infestation in Termina as it is, what with the lack of exterminators and everything. But when the vermin start fighting back by running at you and exploding, I would raise this from a public health concern to a DEFCON 0. AKA, don't worry about me guys, I'm pretty used to the taste of shrapnel by now. This horrifying experience is only at the entrance to Ikana Canyon, but venturing further ahead leads us to what I would consider the single most dangerous place in all of Majora's Mask. Only a brief hike from where you're establishing a permanent residence lies a literal Valley of the Dead. Everything here is either haunted, full of the undead, or just straight up cursed. I kid you not, even the river here is cursed, and entering the grotto to investigate results in you being afflicted with a curse of death. For the most part, haunted is an adjective that applies to pretty much 99% of this place. You'd probably be hard-pressed to find something that wasn't cursed, haunted, or just voodooed all to shit. Despite this, surviving here is obviously doable. For example, a scientist was able to set up shop here to research the damn place, and he's doing just fine. Okay, I know how it looks, but we can't be certain this isn't a fetish thing. Jokes aside, this man looks like this because he was cursed when he tried to enter a well. That's it. That's all it takes to have your life completely turned inside out here. Though I will say the blame falls entirely on his head. Choosing to enter a spooky well in a haunted valley makes you a top contender for a Darwin Award, no matter how you look at it. And if things couldn't get any worse, there are invisible ghost assassins that would love to stab you to death.
Whoa, I'm gonna stab you.
Weirdly, they also blow up when you kill them. So yeah, pretty much 5-star Zillow rating all around. Now, suppose you have more than a couple stray brain cells bouncing around up there and you choose not to move to the aforementioned places. Where would you go? Well, my initial thought would be somewhere nice and quiet. Perhaps somewhere with walls surrounding you so that danger can only come from one direction. Somewhere like Romani Ranch. Everything you could possibly need is here. Food and milk to keep you healthy, chicken wrangling for entertainment, and even a little dog race gambling for you degenerate folks out there. This place has everything. You would think this is the true safe haven in Termina. But really, it's more of a glorified fishing net. And we're the fishing. Every year around the same time, hordes of unknown space entities arrive to abduct the livestock. And you'll go with them if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. I always wondered why they chose to stay here, but then it started to make sense when I looked at all these other places. Your greatest threat only comes once a year, making this among the safest places in all of Majora's Mask. So the immediate threats only make up a portion of what will put your name in an obituary. There's also a distinct lack of resources for your average Joe. There aren't really any trained medical professionals, and the closest thing to medicine we can obtain is from a witch's hut in a poisonous swamp. So in the unfortunate case where you get sick, unless the CVS back in Hyrule offers delivery, you're pretty much dead. It seems overall that Clocktown really is the safest place in all of Termina, and that's not really saying much, especially when we take a peek within the walls of the city itself. The local kids formed a gang called the Bomber Secret Society of Justice, whose name used to puzzle me until I realized that everything in this game f***ing explodes for some reason. Their gang's chosen hideout is the Astral Observatory on the outskirts of Termina Field, and the secret entrance leads you through the sewers, where man-sized spiders just drop out of nowhere and attack you. So pretty much nowhere is safe. Oh, and somehow I forgot about the fact that the moon's crashing down. You know what, just pack your stuff and move back to Hyrule. Termina kinda sucks.